Welcome to Discovering True Health, where our goal is to provide you with cutting-edge health information through research, interviews with experts, and personal journeys to true health. Our message is a message of hope and healing, and our mission is to bring you on a journey to discovering true health, to not only find wellness, but to thrive. Hello and welcome to Discovering True Health, your weekly deep dive into health and wellness. Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on all our upcoming shows. You can also check out additional information on our website, Instagram, or Facebook. All those links are below. So today we'll be talking about depression and what it takes to overcome depression. Recent studies have found that depression among adults in the US tripled in early 2020, the early months of the pandemic, jumping from 8.5% to 27.8%. And new research from the Boston University School of Public Health states that this elevated rate of depression has persisted into 2021 and even worsened, climbing to 32.8%, affecting 1 in every 3 American adults. So this is definitely a topic we all need to educate ourselves on and really understand how to overcome and heal from depression. So my guest today is Ana Lennyr. She's a life strategist and depression freedom expert. With her clients, she addresses the root cause of what's holding them back and comes up with measurable and specific results that will improve their relationships, health, and overall life. So thank you so much for joining me today, Ana.
Hi, Christy. Thank you, George, for inviting me. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I really appreciate you being here. Now, you've overcome depression and a very difficult childhood yourself, which is what led you to discover and develop the formula you use in your work to help your clients overcome depression. And your story is so incredible. Can you first share with us a bit about your journey and how you overcame depression?
So my story is not very different than a lot of stories out there about children depressed, right? I was depressed since the age of 12, probably even earlier. I just didn't know about it. I was suicidal at the age of 19. After that, I went to university to study psychology, trying to save myself because I didn't know how. And I ended up still in depression for 27 years of my life, until the age of 38, when I almost died from the same disease my mom died from at the age of 55 overnight. So it was amazing how I kept these patterns of depression for 2 generations. And I was, even putting the weight on my son, who at the age of 9 already started to show signs of depression. It's when actually everything changed for me within 7 months. As I understood that psychology is not helping you, antidepressant is not helping you, therapy and talking and complaining about is not going to help you. And I had to find ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you talk about how depression is not a mental or medical condition, and you've experienced, like you said, you went through all this and nothing was helping you. What's your definition and understanding of depression?
So the reason why I don't consider it a medical or mental illness is because you cannot tell a child that's 12-year-old that's mentally ill. Or my newest customer now, her son is 6 years old and he wants to die since the age of 4. Wow. Okay. And I just went on the stage last week with Jillian Michaels talking about kids that are getting depressed at 9. They talk about suicide at 11. And at the age of 13, they already attempt suicide. This kid only did not attempt suicide at the age of 6 because he doesn't know how. But these rates accelerate every day. I hear more and more a faster thing. I cannot tell that mother, your child is mentally ill. Because I was not at the age of 12. I was very, very sad, right? I didn't know how to get rid of that pain. So my definition of depression is deep, heavy, and unresolved emotional wounding. Practically pain in your heart. that you don't know how to get rid of. You don't know why it's there. And you're angry at yourself and the world because the world doesn't know how to help you and you don't know how to help yourself.
Absolutely. No, that's fascinating how you talk about how the depression rate and suicidal rate in children is increasing. Are there any specifics that you've heard kind of from research of why that is? Is it kind of technology? Is it kind of,
I do know why that is. Okay. One of the reasons is clearly whatever we've been doing the last 20 years was not working. Okay. You have mentioned the fact that the suicides and the depression increases, even if we have doubled the antidepressants amount that we prescribe to people in the last 2 years. So clearly, everything that we've been doing from a medical point of view, psychological point of view, is not working. This is why we have solutions that do work.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah.
But just the fact that it's accelerating to let us know that, hey guys, wake up. What you've been doing is not working.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have these, like you said, we have lots of antidepressants. We have all these different therapies. And, when I saw the numbers in my research, I was shocked how much they went up since 2020. Now you have in your program a 3-step formula to overcome depression. Can you share with us what your 3-step formula is?
So I made it as simple as possible for everybody. Everybody says 3 steps already. I'm like, let's already take notes. Okay. The first step is life strategies to never end up in depression. You have noticed, guys, that there are people out there that all their families dying, all their country gets bombed. They're the only one left, right? Holocaust, people that survived, right? And they never ended up in depression after that, after all this hardship happened to them. And other ones that I don't even know why I was depressed because none of this happened to me. Nobody, my family was not killed. My country was not bombed, right? So there are people born with specific skills that insulate them from depression. These are relationship skills, emotional skills, and mindset skills. And guess what? These are learnable skills. We just don't know because probably our parents don't know about how to learn it from others, right? So the first step in my program is learn skills to insulate you from depression so you will never be in depression, which would be great, right? If you learn these kind of skills at the age of 12, you never end up suicidal at the age of 19 or in depression until the age of 38 or putting your kids in depression. So this is number one. Number two is that, well, what do you do when you're already in depression now, right? I mean, you learn the skills to prevent it, but if you're already slipping into this pain, now we're talking about a different game. And this is the game of how secrets can help you in this universe overcome depression. When I went through this journey, I knew that the medical society doesn't have an answer. How many doctors are not depressed and nurses? Most of our clients are nurses. I knew that therapy and psychology is not a problem because I've been there. Nobody can help me there, right? I knew that meds, there are vitamins for depression would be the next thing they're inventing and it's not going to work. Okay. So I went to categories of people that they've never been depressed. And I asked them, how did you do it? So I asked myself, who has never been depressed as a category of people in life? And I found only 2 categories: Himalayan yogi masters and Shaolin monks. And I said, I'm not into meditation and yoga. I'm not have a body type for that. Like, forget about that one. But I went and asked, how did you do it? Well, it looks like they have specific strategies to remove pain. 5 levels of pain are in depression: rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, and injustice. They have skills and strategies to remove each level. And they've been having these skills and strategies for 5,000 years in their tool belt to never be depressed. And we looked to the wrong questions to get the wrong answers out of depression for centuries.
So it's these emotions that are trapped within us, and we just don't have the tools.
And sometimes generations, right? So they have strategies and techniques to practically remove pain as a negative energy from your heart.
Wow.
At 5 levels, right? And I was like, okay, so can you teach me? Sure, but I'm not doing all this meditation stuff and all this yoga stuff. No problem. We'll be more than happy to teach you how to be happy. Like, we got it, right? So these kind of things, we didn't know they exist.
Yeah.
We were on this planet. It's not from somebody else's planet, right?
Right.
But we didn't even know they exist because we never asked the right people.
Yeah.
So this is level 2 of healing, because you really, really need to get rid of that pain because it's already inside you. Right? And the 3rd level of healing, it's a different game. So I always talk to people about the fact that the game is rigged. Many people talk about the law of attraction, and people in depression said, oh, the law of attraction doesn't work for me because I always attract the pain and the kookadoos and the, stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it's exactly because the law of attraction is set up like that. So this is how the game works. You're in pain, you attract pain because the law of attraction says you attract who you are. So the game is rigged for us. And how is it rigged? It's you keep attracting the same type of pain or a different pain over and over again. When you're happy, you attract happy people, right? But how do you get there? And this is what the 3rd level does. It finds the crack of how to unrig the game. Using the same law of attraction, of the same law of what you want, right? Of what your potential is, because all this pain is hiding deep potential for people. People can do so much more. A child can do so much more when they're not in pain, right? My child has been through successful people at the age of 14. At 14, man, I could barely walk out of pain. I had headaches. I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the difference between 2 14-year-olds, one in pain, one in not, right? Yep. But the game is rigged for the ones in pain. And this is why we keep doing pain. And our kids earlier and faster are slipping into pain. So here is the 3rd level. The 3rd level of a formula is how to, now that the healing has been done, right? You got rid of a pain. You learn all the skills to insulate you from other pain in the past or in the future, because you learn skills to insulate from depression. Now, how do you unrig the game? How do you step out of it at a different game? The game of living, not suffering. It's a different game. And this is the 3-step formula that I do.
Wow. Now you talk about how one of the steps is learning the skills to prevent depression. So it's possible to prevent depression.
Yes, it is possible to prevent depression. It is, once you got out of depression, it is 100% not possible to ever be in it because you already know how to prevent it.
Right.
Right. So no matter where you are in a journey, you're stuck in depression a big time, or you don't even know you're depressed, but you're not happy, or you're just, something holds you back no matter where you are, because there are 3 levels of depression. I call them lost in the labyrinth of depression. These are kids suicidal, completes in deep depression. And then it's the warrior depression, which are usually busy and parents that don't know how to have their children. And then it's a magician chained by depression, which is so close to getting out, but just doesn't know how, all right? So it doesn't matter at which level of depression you are, all levels are fixable, preventable, and nobody should suffer on this planet, period, children or adults.
And the tools are there. We just need to learn them. Now, what are maybe like 1 or 2 tools that you could talk about that we could all implement to prevent, falling into a state of depression?
So the first 2 that I would suggest that I see everybody coming at me to, the first things that I do is Nobody has relationship skills. This is number one. And I'm not talking about how to talk to men and women and how to get understand and communicate. None of this. I'm not talking about that. There are 4 types of men in the world, 4 types of women in the world. There are 4 energies in the world. You need to know where you are, which one to step into. The reason being, if you don't know who you are, you can connect with yourself first and then with others. You can see their pain and you don't know how to get rid of yours. So what I would suggest, the first thing is a deep relationship course. We call it True Love Secrets, where it's not only, it's the secrets of love for everybody, between kids and parents, between partners, between you and friends, and with yourself too. Because you need to know these secrets, where I am at, what do I want, why do I keep attracting all these kookadoos in my life, why everybody hurts me.
Right.
And this will make you understand that. The second thing that I suggest for people is that they don't know their negative emotions are their superpowers. I see this all the time. So now I'm angry and I want to get rid of my anger. No, anger is your fuel of life. You just have to rewire it. You just have to redirect it. Mm-hmm. It's your fuel of life. I have anxiety. I'm going to live with it forever. Why would you want to do that? Anxiety is only telling you that it's some kind of trauma, some kind of pain that you haven't solved in the past. Let's work on that so you don't have to live with anxiety all your life. I'm overthinking too much. I think I'm like, no. Instead of overthinking, align your mind with your heart, with what you truly want. These are powers that we're wasting in life. These are superpowers we all have inside. We just don't know how to maneuver it and put it to benefit us, to befriend our mind, instead of our mind ruling us and keep going like a hamster wheel over and over and over again and never being anywhere.
Right. It's like a self-mastery. I mean, master thyself, master your mind, master your emotions.
Yes, without separating from it, without using it as you're my friend. I know what this means. How can we solve it together? Because you see, the mind will do these kind of things, and we have 70 mind traps. We talk about it all the time. It doesn't know how to fix the pain that we talked about at the healing level. The mind doesn't know how to do that. So it will keep you occupied. It will tell you you cannot. It will keep you distracted. Well, maybe if you run a marathon, maybe if I heal my emotional pain first and then I run the marathon, I'll be more efficient, right? So it will put you into traps, a self-sabotaging trap, because it doesn't know how to fix your pain. So there, if you know how to say it, I know what trap you put me into because you don't know how to fix my pain. Nevertheless, I have to fix my pain. Hold on a second. We'll fix it together. Then you befriend it. You work with it, not against it. And then you're accomplishing so much more as together, connected between your heart and your mind.
That's beautiful. So that's holistic. It's, using all your tools. And
of course, you don't have to cut off your legs to get out of depression. You'll be more depressed if you don't have legs. So we're using tools and we're just redirecting them into the right pieces of a puzzle. So it will be a different puzzle of your life, a puzzle of living, of empowerment, of potential, of what do I want to be? Okay, the pain can be gone. It's not going to hold me back till the end of your life.
Yeah. And let's say for those out there that are, are experiencing and that are depressed, what are, maybe a step or two that you would recommend, the first kind of step or two to really get out of those, or really start sorting through those negative, emotions that are trapped that you were talking about, to kind of help them take some steps towards freeing themselves?
The first thing we have from people is they cannot make the decision to overcome depression. This is the first problem. They think that if they get rid of a pain, it's like they're going to have to get rid of their heart or their kid or something. They don't realize that pain is holding them back. They don't realize they don't have to go back to what trauma they experienced to get rid of this pain, because there are techniques and strategies to just, let it go, right? So they're afraid of who they are without the pain.
Wow.
And they hold on to it, and they cannot make the decision to overcome depression. So in our screening programs for people that we accept, if they don't make the decision, we cannot take them, because they're going to quit on themselves during the program, and it's not going to help them. So this is the first thing that anybody has to ask. Have you suffered enough? Are you done to make it quits? To just say, enough today, tomorrow I want to let it go.
Wow.
If you make this one decision, everything else changes.
Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It becomes their way of being. It's like their comfort zone, I guess.
And for me, it was at the age of 38, I find out I have the same illness as my mom died overnight at 55. Wow. I said, what if I die overnight from this illness? I have a 9-year-old at home, and I am a single mom. So my child will be an orphan. I really need to do this, finish this, overcome this, or I'm going to die trying. I don't have another choice, right? So that level of pain has to come into my life for me to decide to overcome depression. That's ridiculous to say, at least. Nevertheless, everybody that comes to us, I said, I tried everything. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Whatever you tell me to do, I'll just do it. Just get me the hell out. It doesn't have to get to that level of pain to do something. You don't deserve to suffer. You deserve to live happy. But nevertheless, sometimes you need to get to that level to make the decision to overcome depression.
Yeah. Step one, make the decision.
Yes.
Powerful.
That's the most important decision you made in your life. You don't realize it.
choose to live.
Yes. Choose to live, not suffer. Different game, very different game.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the signs and symptoms that we should be aware of that are signals that we're in a depressed state and we should really reach out for help and start, figuring out ways to overcome it?
So a lot of anger, inwards and outwards, a lot of low self-confidence, headaches, back problems, fibromyalgia, brains, how you smile can tell me at which level of depression you are.
Really?
Yes. I can see it through a picture anywhere. I know it's like, okay, they're depressed, they're level 1, level 2, level 3. It's crazy, right?
Wow.
How you walk, I can tell that somebody's depressed. And at which level we need to start their depression. If you notice the people that have low self-confidence, but they walk like this, they have a world on their shoulders, that they're carrying something, right? And you can tell from there. But this is how it is. We have parents that come to us with children that they said, oh, they're threatening that they're going to kill themselves. And these are not jokes. Okay. It's like, oh, they called us hostage. I'm like, no. The kid is screaming for help. You're just angry yourself enough that you don't want to see it. These are not jokes. All right. So we need to pay attention to signs when somebody is angry, when somebody overthinks, when somebody can't sleep for 2.5 years, like I couldn't. That brought me to my suicidal attempt, because I couldn't sleep for 2.5 years. I was totally confused. I'm like, how am I make myself sleep? I take 41 sleeping pills. Just like you killed yourself, but I try to sleep. Okay. All right. So all these things that there are a lot of signs out there. We need to pay attention as adults and as parents to see them, because we're so entangled in our own pain, we're blinded and we don't want to see it.
Right.
But it's there.
We're triggered by it, or triggered by somebody else's.
We're triggered by it. We try to ignore it. We try to not see it. We try to say, like, why my child like this? He's got everything he wants. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The child is not happy. Just acknowledge not happy and let's go fix it.
Right.
Right. Don't just leave it to, oh, we're going to be fine. These children that are threatening suicide and they're depressed and young, they're not going to be fine. They're going to develop a lot of illnesses deep down the road. If they suffer from rejection, they usually have illnesses connected to the sexual glands. Or if they suffer from humiliation, they end up with diabetes and overweight. If they suffer with abandonment, they end up with being extremely angry, liver problem, digestive problems. And because the liver is affected, all of the glands can be affected too, because it's in connection with it, right? If they end up being betrayed, they have cholesterol problems, heart attacks. And if they end up with a perfectionist and injustice one, the last one, they have headaches, migraines, back pain here, a back of a neck, and later on strokes. All of this is connected to how much suffering you can take in which level of your life, in which area of your life. This is why getting rid of this is very important.
Fascinating. So the emotions get trapped, these emotions, and we don't have the tools to kind of facilitate and move them through. And
they practically collapse onto organs, glands, part of your body.
Wow.
They practically collapse that organ. It just catches the weakest thing and it's destroying it. And then you wonder, it's like, I have a rare blood disease. You were born with it? No, I developed it. You developed because you were depressed.
Right. So depression will cause physiological symptoms.
Yes. And then because you have physiological symptoms, you also have mental blocks, right? And this is why they say, oh, it's mental and cannot be fixed. No, it can be fixed, but it's all connected.
Now, if someone were to go through your program and, really apply themselves and make the decision, from your experience, how long does it take for someone to overcome depression working, with the correct tools?
So the first thing I have to tell you, that 9 out of 10 people we do not accept.
Wow. For what reason?
Okay. For a good reason. The first thing we're looking for is like they're ready to make the decision. Okay. The second thing we're looking for, do they think that depression can be overcome in whatever they were doing and in a certain way? Because you have all the people there that, oh, it's this and that and the other. If you think you can overcome it that way, go for it. Don't tell us what works, because we take hundreds of people out every year, right? So we know exactly what works. So if you're not ready to just do whatever you're told, just follow direction. We made a program, very simple. Just follow direction. You have questions, you ask us. Okay, we explain why, but you follow it up even if you don't understand how this all works, because the puzzle gets back pieced together at the end, right? You can't see a picture with only pieces, right? At the beginning. If you're not ready to just, trust a program that's, by the way, money back guaranteed, then you're not ready. Very simple. Then you're not ready, right? So we don't accept everybody, okay? The program usually takes 3 months. Some people delay it up to 6 months because they think it's too fast for them. Yes, we're running a boot camp. We're fast, right? We can't push it to be as fast as we are, right? And the people that are really, really ready, sometimes they come up in 9 weeks. I'm not joking. We had a 74-year-old man, a 72-year-old woman, a 68-year-old woman. And I was like, how you, that you're so old and you're listening to me like your daughter, I didn't even think I can reach them or they can follow my directions, right? Because I would be your daughter, right? And like, how do you get the hell faster? And they say, we don't have enough time to waste with this. It's time to get out. Most people delay to overcome depression because they think they have plenty of time. And they don't realize that they're living that time in suffering instead of living.
Right.
So, yeah, we take a lot of people. We're very serious about it. I'm extremely passionate about children depressed.
Yeah. I mean,
That I extra attention to make sure that child is not going through what I went through.
Yes. I mean, this all needs to be the curriculum in kindergarten.
Yeah.
First
And
grade.
it will be in 2 generations, it will be. This is what's important for living, not that you're learning at history what happened 80 years ago. It's important. I'm not saying it's not, but it doesn't help you when you're a child between 2 parents that don't get along, or they're divorced, or when you've been abandoned by mom or dad, or you've been humiliated or bullied or angry. It doesn't help you what happened 80 years ago, but you're learning at math, this calculation, all that. You first need to live your life, to learn the skills of how to deal with life.
Yes.
Then you can learn anything in school.
Yes.
But first you need to learn how to live your life.
And the relationship skills, like you were talking about. I mean,
And emotional skills and mindset. And it's a lot. It's a lot to learn that we've been skipping. We've been thinking, keep yourself occupied with something else.
Mhm.
No, I don't know how to live my life. That's why I'm suicidal.
Right. Learn this formula. Learn algebra. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's busy work. Now I'm sure, you touched on this earlier, but what is your take on antidepressant medications? I mean, I know you mentioned they don't work for you. Is there ever a point when somebody should take them, or what's your kind of take on pharmaceutical?
So what we do not knew about it before, the second step in the formula that I'm doing, is that depressions usually sits in the liver as an emotion, as an emotional wounding. Well, everything goes through the liver. The liver is a gland and an organ at the same time.
And that's what the liver is, what processes all the.
Exactly. So now you think about exactly the fact that I have mentioned, then they doubled the number of antidepressants and the suicide rate grew double.
Yes.
That's the connection. You have to think of a liver as a filter.
Right.
If it's clogged with chemicals and with your emotions, it cannot process anything properly. And as a gland is connected to all the other glands, including the pituitary gland that will give you a mental negative thinking, right? So it's all connected. So here is how you unclog it. The number one people that we love to take is nurses in programs. Why? They know exactly how to get off antidepressants safely. And I don't need a doctor to, to cooperate with me, because at some level of healing, you get rid of your depression. Why would you take antidepressants? It doesn't make sense, all right? But doctors will be still afraid of doing that because they don't know exactly what I do, right? So we love nurses because they know how to safely get off their antidepressants. Because it doesn't make sense when you don't have depression anymore to keep taking antidepressants, right? So for the children, we try to step in before they're on any kind of medication, because that will only make them robots and make them, feel like in a cage, right? So we're trying our best, but the best approach is either get off it, okay? Either don't take it, okay? Or if we succeed to get you off totally, then we can sometimes replace it with herbs that will help for a period of time until you don't need anything. The idea here, you shouldn't be dependent on anything in your life to be happy. Nothing.
I love that. Wow, that's powerful. Now, for those that would like to connect with you and contact you, they can find you on your website, which is lifestrategywithresults.com. And you also have your Instagram and Facebook, and I'll post a link to all those below. And I noticed you do a free life strategy assessment that we can all take and get feedback from on your website, which is great. So everybody be sure to go check that out. Can you tell us a bit about the programs, the mentorship programs and coaching programs that you have available, and kind of what your process is when working with your clients?
So we can get people out of depression in 3 days. Nevertheless, there are some doubts that I have with people that says, yes, I'm ready. Yeah, you say you're ready, but it's a big difference.
Are you really ready?
Exactly. Are you really ready? Those 3 days, they take usually a minimum of 10 hours with me one-on-one. And we explain of what are challenges with that. Not everybody's ready for that. So for somebody that has a kid depressed or an entire family is depressed, or they're not ready for that. That usually happens for people who have gone through a lot of personal development work, or they're just stuck with that level. Then we have programs approximately of 3 months that a lot of times they turn into 6 months, but it's totally fine, where you are going through an online program at your own time, and then you meet with me. And then another set of modules, and then you meet with me. It's very important that we don't put you on automatically doing a program. Maybe there is something you don't understand. Maybe you need more feedback. Maybe you have to repeat something, right? So it's very important that at every level, I assess you where you are. What we do not do is therapy. Okay, everybody thinks that if I am talking about my problem, I'm going to solve my problem. How did that work out?
But you don't have the tools to solve. Right.
So we are attached to our story, thinking that somebody is going to solve what? The past, that you've been abandoned by a husband, or I cannot fix that. Right? That somebody got killed in your family. I cannot fix that. Right? So here is we giving you exactly what you need to do to get out. I know very little about the stories of my clients, okay? And I usually can pinpoint because this happened to you. Like, how did you know? Yeah, this happened to you, okay? Because it's not the story I'm going to fix. It's the new story, how do you want to live, that we need to rebuild together after the pain is gone. So we are not a forever therapy program of, I call it quacking or complaining department, because that doesn't help. It already has proved that doesn't help.
Right.
So why would I keep you in a program for 10 years to get out of depression? Okay, that doesn't work. Get the hell out and be happy and live your life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like you said, you can't go back and change the story anyway. So it's not about the story.
Past. I don't even know you.
Right.
So things like this, that we went so in the wrong direction. And now, you know, probably most of your listeners, right? They've never heard of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, how is that possible? But how do you know that works? But I've never heard of this. But yeah, I know you heard of everything that doesn't work.
Because if it was working, like you said, we went up skyrocketing 8%, 32% in 2 years.
And maybe this accelerates at all areas of our lives, because it's about time to pay attention that we are hurt. Yes. And we ignored it. Not to run from the word depression, like, oh, everybody says the mental illness, but it's not. It's pain in your heart. And somebody that's in depression, it's not a loser. It's a person in pain that has a lot of potential underneath it. So let's stop running away from one word or another, and let's start fixing it.
Beautiful. I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This was very eye-opening, and I know everybody watching is going to learn so much. Before we wrap it up, do you have any final thoughts or words for those out there who are struggling with depression?
Yes, don't live one more day in pain. It's not worth it. A lot of people come to me, it's like, I don't have time to do a 3 months program. And like, you have time to live 3 more months in depression? Think about that one. It's the same time you have on this planet to live in suffering, okay, or to live, period, right? What we don't understand is that we are so tied up to our pain, we don't realize we can let it go, because we don't know how. Nobody's teaching us how, right? And yeah, it's different levels of pain and different ways to let go. So guys, don't live your life in pain one more day, period.
Make that decision. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about your body, the better you're able to stay healthy and prevent disease. And a reminder, I'm not your doctor, so don't take this as medical advice. If you have questions about your specific healthcare, you can reach out to your practitioner or you can contact Anna and talk to her. If you would like this video, please like and share with others. This information could really help someone you may know. Also hit that subscribe button to be sure you don't miss out on our future shows. And stay tuned for the next episode of Discovering True Health.